The wider the sky grew, the more uneasy it became. Uranus saw his children as a blessing, but they also looked like another power that could one day shadow him. The beings born between Gaia and Uranus were not small in any sense. The Titans resembled the old strength of the world, while the Cyclopes looked at creation with one intense eye in the center of the face. The Hekatonkheires were imagined as beings with 100 hands and 50 heads. Just hearing those names, they do not sound like children who would sit quietly at home. The first family was not made only of warm scenes. Earth gave birth, sky covered, and between them the powers of the world began to grow. But as those powers grew, fear began to settle in Uranus before joy could. Inside the order he had made, he could not accept that forces rougher and stranger than himself were being born. Fear sometimes wears the face of love. It binds while saying protection, hides while saying order, and takes away the outside world while saying it is still too early. Uranus's fear moved in that direction. He did not leave his children free under the sky. He pushed the children he found hardest to bear deep into the earth, inside Gaia's own body. If we treat this scene simply as a story about locking away monsters, the point becomes blurred. What Uranus buried was not ugliness, but the possibilities the newborn world had begun to carry. Strange, rough, and overwhelmingly strong things, powers still hard to name and hard to control. He did not try to understand them. He tried to make them disappear from his sight. For Gaia, this was pain felt in the body. Her children should have come out and found their own place, but they were pressed again into the depths of their mother. Earth may look wide and solid, but she had to keep carrying the weight of the lives trapped inside her. The world may have seemed quiet on the surface, but that quiet was closer to a stifled groan than to peace. Uranus is the sky. He looks down on everything from above, and he can cover things far into the distance. But being high does not always mean having a wide heart. From too high a place, everything growing below can begin to look like a threat. There are moments when the life beneath you is no longer seen as growth, but only as movement that will take your place. What makes this myth interesting is that Uranus does not look like a simple villain. He is closer to a ruler afraid that his own world will collapse. He cannot accept a power that is unfamiliar to him, so he presses it down before it can shake his order. That is why his violence feels colder than a sudden burst of anger. It is the violence that appears when fear hardens into a system. Gaia kept carrying it all. She endured the weight of the children, the blocked breath, and the force inside her that had to move outward. The word mother does not always carry only a gentle image. In myth, Gaia is the earth that gives life, but also the earth that remembers pain when life is unjustly held down. The more Uranus covered from above, another feeling grew inside her. In ordinary life, too, the first thing fear closes is a door. The door of conversation, the door of growth, the door that leads outside. Uranus may have thought he was protecting his place by imprisoning his children. But inside a closed door, the other person is not the only one who disappears. The world of the one who closed the door also becomes smaller. The story of Uranus imprisoning his children shows the first crack in the first family. A house is not complete simply because someone is born into it. If someone is born, that life must be allowed to find its own place. When the power to give that place hardens into fear, a family stops being a space that holds life and becomes a space that presses it down. The children born between sky and earth were new faces of the world. Uranus refused to look at those faces, and Gaia felt them being pushed into darkness through her own body. So the first house quietly began to split. On the outside, the sky still looked high, and the earth still looked wide, but between them a pain that could not last forever was already rising.